Good day, everyone. Have you ever found yourself hesitating to speak up or take action because you were worried about what others would think? If so, you're not alone. Most of us have been there. But today, I want to challenge you to stop worrying about what others think and start focusing on what you think. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of personal growth and freedom. It is the ability to recognize and understand your own thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, as well as how they align with your values, beliefs, and desires. This powerful tool allows you to see the world around you with clarity and make decisions that are truly in line with who you are. The more self-aware you become, the less you rely on the opinions of others to define your worth or direction. It's only when you deeply understand yourself that you can start making choices based on your true desires, rather than conforming to external pressures or expectations. At the heart of self-awareness is a deep and honest understanding of your strengths and weaknesses. This is not about seeing yourself as flawless or perfect, but rather acknowledging who you are and the things that make you imperfections and all, and learning to embrace it. When you accept both your strengths and shortcomings, you build the foundation for authentic confidence. Instead of shying away from your vulnerabilities, you learn to leverage them, understanding that they are part of what makes you unique. This kind of awareness helps you stop comparing yourself to others and frees you from the unrealistic expectations we so often place on ourselves due to societal standards. Self-awareness also means understanding your emotional landscape. Life is full of ups and downs, and often how we react to these situations can either propel us forward or hold us back. When you are self-aware, you can recognize how you feel in any given moment, understand why you feel that way, and decide how to respond, rather than simply reacting impulsively. Emotions are powerful, and if you don't know how to manage them, they can dictate your actions and choices. But with self-awareness, you gain the ability to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully, allowing you to maintain control of your life. Part of being self-aware is recognizing how your values influence your decisions. Your values are the guiding principles that inform your choices and behaviors. They reflect what is most important to you, whether that's family, career, creativity, or personal growth. When you align your actions with your values, you feel a sense of fulfillment and purpose. However, when you stray from your values to please others or chase external validation, you begin to feel disconnected and unsatisfied. Self-awareness allows you to identify what truly matters to you, helping you stay true to yourself, even in the face of external pressure. The more you trust your values and live by them, the less you will be swayed by others' opinions or judgments. Moreover, self-awareness brings clarity to your goals. When you know what you truly want out of life, you can chart a path that reflects your aspirations. But without this awareness, it's easy to get distracted by the noise of other people's desires or societal expectations. It's easy to get caught up in a race that isn't your own, to try to achieve things that others say you should achieve instead of what you truly want. By understanding yourself better, you can set goals that align with your authentic desires, making the journey more meaningful and rewarding. In the process of self-awareness, you may also uncover limiting beliefs that have been holding you back. These are the deep-seated thoughts or stories we tell ourselves about what we are capable of or deserving of. Often these beliefs are rooted in past experiences, societal conditioning, or the opinions of others. They can prevent you from taking risks, pursuing your passions, or stepping into your full potential. Once you become aware of these beliefs, you can challenge them and replace them with empowering ones. Self-awareness empowers you to rewrite the narrative of your life, allowing you to create the future you truly desire. The journey to self-awareness is ongoing. It's not a destination, but a continuous process of growth and reflection. As you evolve and change, so will your understanding of yourself. But with each step, you become more aligned with your true essence. You learn to trust yourself, to make choices that are right for you, and to step away from the need for external approval. When you are truly self-aware, the opinions and judgments of others hold less sway over your life, and you begin to live with more freedom, purpose, and authenticity. The ability to focus on what you control is one of the most empowering practices you can adopt in your life. We live in a world filled with uncertainties, unpredictable events, and forces beyond our control. Often we find ourselves consumed by things that we cannot influence. Other people's actions, the economy, the weather, or the opinions of others. Yet the truth is, spending energy worrying about these uncontrollable factors only leads to frustration, stress, and a sense of powerlessness. The key to reclaiming your peace of mind is recognizing that while you can't control everything, you can control how you respond to the world around you, and that is where your true power lies. The first step in focusing on what you control is understanding the difference between what is within your control and what isn't. There are many things in life that simply cannot be influenced by your actions or decisions, and accepting this is crucial. For example, you can't control how people treat you, the outcome of every situation, or the obstacles that might come your way. But you can control how you respond to these things. Your mindset, your attitude, and your actions are entirely within your control. This is where the magic happens. When you shift your attention from the uncontrollable to the things that you can influence, you begin to reclaim your personal power. The next step is to take full responsibility for your actions and choices. It's easy to blame external circumstances, other people, or situations for how things turn out. But the truth is, you always have a choice in how you respond. Your decisions, however small, can determine the trajectory of your life. By focusing on making intentional, thoughtful choices, you begin to create a life that aligns with your goals and values. This sense of ownership over your decisions gives you the confidence to move forward with purpose, knowing that you have the ability to shape your own destiny. Part of focusing on what you control involves managing your thoughts. Our thoughts are incredibly powerful, and they often dictate how we perceive the world and respond to challenges. If we allow negative thoughts or worries to dominate our minds, it becomes nearly impossible to focus on what we can actually do. Learning to direct your thoughts towards what is constructive, positive, and solution-oriented is essential. Instead of dwelling on obstacles or setbacks, practice shifting your focus to the opportunities that lie ahead. By cultivating a mindset of possibility and optimism, you empower yourself to take action rather than being paralyzed by fear or doubt. In addition to managing your thoughts, focusing on what you control means taking care of your physical and emotional well-being. Your health, your energy, and your mental state are things that you have a direct impact on. Prioritize self-care by eating well, exercising regularly, getting enough rest, and engaging in activities that nurture your mental health. When you take care of yourself, you strengthen your ability to handle the challenges life throws at you. The more you invest in your well-being, the more resilient and capable you become, and the more you realize that your inner strength is far more powerful than external circumstances. Time management is another critical aspect of focusing on what you control. In a world filled with distractions, it's easy to waste time on things that don't contribute to your growth or happiness. You can't control how much time you have, but you can control how you use it. Prioritizing your time based on your goals, values, and what matters most allows you to create a sense of purpose and direction in your life. When you focus on the activities that truly align with your objectives, you begin to see real progress, and the distractions and chaos of life become less overwhelming. Furthermore, when you focus on what you control, you begin to let go of the need for external validation. So often we seek approval from others to feel worthy or successful, but the truth is external validation is fleeting and unreliable. When you put your energy into seeking validation from within by doing things that align with your true self and fulfilling your own standards, you find a much deeper sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. Your sense of self-worth no longer depends on the opinions of others, but on your own inner compass. Ultimately, focusing on what you control gives you the freedom to live authentically and with purpose. It allows you to take ownership of your life, your choices, and your actions. It empowers you to stop worrying about things that are beyond your influence and start creating the life you truly want. When you focus on what you control, you release the burden of unnecessary worry, and instead you take bold, decisive steps toward a future that reflects who you are and what you truly desire. By mastering this practice, you unlock a level of peace and confidence that comes from knowing you are always in control of one essential thing, yourself. The illusion of perfection is a powerful yet deceptive force that has been ingrained in society for generations. At its core, the illusion of perfection creates an unrealistic standard. We are bombarded with idealized images of beauty, success, and achievement. Social media amplifies this, with everyone showcasing their best moments, filtered to present a polished version of life. This constant comparison creates a belief that if we don't meet these unattainable ideals, we are somehow failing. But the truth is, what we see on the surface is often far removed from the reality of people's lives. Everyone has their struggles, their flaws, and their imperfections. Perfection, as society defines it, is not only out of reach, but it's also irrelevant to what truly makes us happy and fulfilled. The pursuit of perfection often causes us to focus on our weaknesses rather than our strengths. We become fixated on fixing what's wrong with us, believing that only by being flawless can we be worthy or successful. This mindset leads to constant dissatisfaction. No matter how much we improve, we are always looking for the next thing to fix. This cycle of striving for perfection can create anxiety, burnout, and a sense of never being enough. What if, instead of constantly striving for an impossible ideal, we embraced who we are, flaws and all? When we stop chasing perfection and accept our imperfections, we open the door to true growth, joy, and authenticity. In reality, it is our imperfections that make us human. They are the very things that shape our character, our creativity, and our resilience. Without flaws, there would be no room for growth or learning. The mistakes we make, the challenges we face, and the setbacks we experience are often the very things that lead to our most significant breakthroughs. It's through our imperfections that we gain wisdom and develop empathy. Rather than seeing imperfection as a weakness, we should learn to view it as a strength, a source of learning and development. The illusion of perfection also creates an unhealthy pressure to constantly perform and meet unrealistic expectations, whether from others or ourselves. This pressure often stems from external sources, such as family, friends, or societal norms. We're taught to believe that we must always be the best, the smartest, the most successful, and the most put-together version of ourselves. But this constant drive to be perfect can lead to a lack of fulfillment. Perfectionism tends to overshadow the simple joys of life, the moments of connection and the beauty of progress. We become so fixated on the end result that we miss out on the richness of the journey. The truth is, striving for perfection can prevent us from ever truly starting. When we wait for the perfect moment or the perfect version of ourselves to take action, we remain stagnant. Perfectionism breeds procrastination because we're too afraid to make mistakes or fail. We fear judgment or criticism, and as a result, we don't take the risks necessary for growth. But real success and progress come from taking imperfect action, from learning as we go, and from making mistakes along the way. When we let go of the need for everything to be perfect, we give ourselves permission to begin, to experiment, and to evolve. By releasing the illusion of perfection, we allow ourselves to be more authentic. We embrace our true selves, complete with imperfections, quirks, and all. This authenticity is not only liberating, but also magnetic. People are drawn to authenticity, to the rawness of human experience. It's in our vulnerability, not our perfection, that we build real connections. When we stop pretending to be perfect, we create space for deeper relationships and a more meaningful life. Creating your own purpose is one of the most transformative and empowering actions you can take in your life. It's the act of actively shaping your path, defining what matters most to you, and living a life that aligns with your deepest values and passions. Many people spend much of their lives seeking purpose from external sources, whether through the approval of others, societal expectations, or following prescribed paths laid out by family, friends, or culture. However, true fulfillment comes when we stop looking outward for validation and start creating a purpose that comes from within. At the heart of creating your own purpose is the understanding that you have the power to design your life. No one else can determine what is meaningful or important to you. Only you can define what brings you fulfillment, joy, and a sense of belonging. This process begins with self-awareness. You need to know yourself deeply. Your values, strengths, passions, and desires. What excites you? What makes you feel alive? What do you want to contribute to the world? These questions are not ones that you answer by mimicking others or following a formula. They are deeply personal, and they require you to explore your inner world without judgment or limitation. When you begin to create your own purpose, it's important to start by letting go of the notion that your purpose has to be grand or extraordinary. The idea that a purpose needs to be something monumental often leads to confusion and overwhelm. Purpose doesn't always manifest in large, sweeping changes. It can be found in the everyday actions that align with your values and passions. It can be the way you show up for others, the work you do, the kindness you offer, or the way you use your talents. Purpose is often found in the small moments, and each action taken in alignment with your true self builds a life that feels meaningful and intentional. One of the most empowering aspects of creating your own purpose is that it gives you the freedom to make choices that align with what you value most. When you know what your purpose is, it becomes your guiding light, your North Star. It's easier to make decisions when you understand your priorities, because every decision becomes an opportunity to living out your purpose. For example, if your purpose is to create positive change in the world, you can evaluate each decision based on how it brings you closer to that goal. If your purpose is centered around growth and learning, every experience becomes a stepping stone toward furthering your knowledge and capabilities. However, creating your own purpose doesn't mean that it will be easier without challenges. Along the way, you will encounter obstacles, doubts, and distractions that could pull you off course. But knowing your purpose gives you the resilience to persevere. It helps you stay anchored when things get tough because you have a clear sense of why you are doing what you are doing. Purpose provides the motivation to keep going when the path isn't clear and the work feels hard. It gives you the strength to continue moving forward, knowing that the challenges are part of the journey. Moreover, creating your own purpose allows you to live with intention. When you know why you are here and what you want to achieve, every action you take is done with greater clarity and focus. You stop moving through life passively, reacting to circumstances, and instead begin to live proactively, creating the life that reflects your values and aspirations. Your days become filled with activities and goals that inspire you, and you begin to feel a deeper sense of meaning in everything you do. As you create your own purpose, you will also inspire others to do the same. People are drawn to those who live authentically with purpose and passion. By being true to your own calling, you not only enrich your own life, but also encourage others to step into their own potential and create their own path. When you live with purpose, you create a ripple effect that spreads to those around you, fostering a community of individuals who are actively creating lives of meaning and fulfillment. In the end, creating your own purpose is about living a life that is aligned with your truest self. It's about breaking free from the expectations of others and defining what brings you joy, fulfillment, and a sense of contribution. The process may take time and it may evolve as you grow and change, but when you begin to actively create a life driven by purpose, you unlock a level of satisfaction and peace that can only come from living authentically and in alignment with what matters most to you. Your purpose is yours to create, and once you embrace this, the possibilities for your life become limitless. Understanding the fragility of others' opinions is one of the most liberating realizations you can have in life. We often spend a significant amount of time and energy worrying about how others perceive us, tailoring our actions and behaviors to meet their expectations. But the truth is, other people's opinions are far more fragile, fleeting, and unreliable than we tend to believe. At the heart of understanding the fragility of others' opinions is the recognition that everyone's perspective is shaped by their own experiences, biases, and insecurities. When someone forms an opinion about you, it's not necessarily about you at all. It's about them. People see the world through the lens of their past, their fears, their desires, and their expectations. Their judgment of you is often more reflective of their own internal struggles than an accurate assessment of who you are. This means that even if someone holds a negative opinion of you, it doesn't define your worth. It's just a momentary perception filtered through their own biases. Furthermore, the opinions of others are rarely permanent. They can shift and change based on new information, personal growth, or shifts in circumstances. Just because someone has an opinion of you today doesn't mean they will hold that same opinion tomorrow. We all go through phases of judgment, and over time, what once seemed important to someone may lose its significance. People's opinions can be influenced by their moods, their current life circumstances, or even the people they associate with. This makes their opinions far less solid than we often give them credit for. It's important to understand that what others think of you today may not be the same as what they think of you in the future, and vice versa. In fact, others' opinions often say more about them than they do about you. We all carry our own fears, insecurities, and judgments, and we project these onto the world around us. If someone judges you harshly, it's possible they are reflecting their own fears or self-criticism. This projection can make their opinions feel more personal, but the reality is that their judgment is less about you and more about their own internal landscape. By recognizing this, you can stop internalizing others' opinions and instead begin to see them as just a reflection of someone else's mind, rather than an objective truth about who you are. The fear of judgment can be paralyzing, but it's important to remember that everyone is far too focused on their own lives to scrutinize yours as much as we sometimes think. We are all living with our own set of worries, responsibilities, and concerns. While we may think people are constantly watching us, the truth is that most people are preoccupied with their own experiences. The amount of time and energy others actually spend thinking about you is far less than you might imagine. This can be freeing, as it shows that the weight of others' opinions is often exaggerated in our minds. People are not paying as much attention to us as we believe they are. Moreover, as you go through life, you realize that no matter how much you try to please others, there will always be people who criticize or judge you. It's an inevitable part of human interaction. No one can be liked or approved of by everyone, and that's okay. Trying to win everyone's approval is an exhausting, futile pursuit. Not everyone will agree with your choices, your values, or your path in life, and that's perfectly normal. In fact, it's a sign that you are being true to yourself. If you're not facing some form of criticism, it may mean you're playing it too safe, trying to please everyone, or not taking enough risks. The more you grow into yourself and follow your own path, the more likely it is that you will encounter differing opinions, and that's a natural part of living authentically. What's crucial is that you don't allow these fragile opinions to dictate how you live. When you begin to understand the impermanence and subjectivity of others' judgments, you gain the freedom to focus on what truly matters, your own values, goals, and happiness. You become less concerned with pleasing others and more focused on being true to who you are. When you stop seeking validation from outside sources, you empower yourself to live more authentically and with greater confidence. You learn to trust your own judgment and rely on your internal compass rather than the constantly shifting winds of external opinions. Courage is often seen as the ability to face fear and adversity head-on, but it is so much more than that. It is the driving force behind personal growth, the key to unlocking the life you truly desire, and the foundation of true freedom. While fear is a natural and inevitable part of life, courage allows us to step beyond it, to move forward even when the path ahead is uncertain or daunting. It is through courage that we discover the power to break free from limitations, whether they be self-imposed, societal, or the fear of failure, and begin to live a life that aligns with our deepest values and aspirations. The freedom that courage brings is not about the absence of fear, but about the willingness to move forward in spite of it. Everyone experiences fear at some point in their lives. It is a primal emotion that exists to protect us from danger, but it can also keep us from taking the risks necessary for growth. Fear can paralyze us, keeping us stuck in situations that no longer serve us, whether it's in our personal relationships, careers, or the pursuit of our passions. However, courage gives us the strength to acknowledge our fears and still take action. It allows us to pursue what we want even when the road ahead is unclear or fraught with obstacles. Courage is essential because it challenges the limiting beliefs that keep us small. These beliefs often stem from past experiences, societal conditioning, or the opinions of others, and they can prevent us from stepping into our true potential. We may feel that we aren't good enough, smart enough, or capable enough to chase after our dreams, so we stay in our comfort zone, stuck in a cycle of self-doubt. But courage empowers us to confront these fears and beliefs head-on. It is the inner strength that says, even though I may not feel ready, I will move forward. And it's through taking action, even in the face of uncertainty, that we build confidence and begin to see just how capable we truly are. Freedom in its truest sense comes when we are no longer ruled by fear. It comes when we are free to live authentically, making choices that are in alignment with who we are, not with what others expect of us. This kind of freedom requires immense courage. The courage to break away from the norms, the courage to challenge the status quo, and the courage to pursue a path that might not always be understood or supported by others. But when we step into our own power, when we trust ourselves enough to take risks, and embrace the unknown, we experience a freedom that is liberating and profound. One of the greatest freedoms that courage offers is the ability to fail without fear of judgment or defeat. In a society that often glorifies success and achievement, failure is seen as something to be avoided at all costs. However, failure is not the end. It is an essential part of the learning process. With courage, we can fail and rise again, knowing that failure is simply a stepping stone on the path to success. When we stop fearing failure, we free ourselves from the need for perfection and embrace the reality that mistakes are an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. Courage also opens the door to living a life of purpose and passion. It is the courage to follow your heart, even when the path is unclear or unconventional. When we are courageous enough to pursue what excites us, we begin to create a life that is fulfilling and meaningful. Too often, we hold ourselves back from pursuing our true passions because we are afraid of what others will think or how we might fail. But when we have the courage to listen to our own desires and act on them, we experience a sense of fulfillment that transcends external validation. True freedom comes from living a life that reflects who you truly are, not who others think you should be. Moreover, courage enables us to set boundaries and protect our emotional well-being. Often, we fear saying no to others because we worry about disappointing them or facing their judgment. But courage empowers us to stand firm in our boundaries, to honor our needs, and to protect our energy. When we have the courage to prioritize ourselves and our values, we are better equipped to show up for others in a meaningful way. Setting boundaries is not a selfish act. It is an act of self-love and respect, and it fosters healthier relationships and greater peace of mind.